She's really ugly, but guys get obsessed with her because she uses the psychological trick of cognitive dissonance. Watch how it works. This guy is getting to know these two women. One's a 7, but plays hard to get. She insists on being picked up. Doors opened for her. Bills paid. She won't accept last-minute dates and takes forever to reply to messages. The other woman, a 9, doesn't play those games. She splits the bills, replies to texts right away, and even makes last-minute plans, and sometimes even picks him up in her car. After 2 weeks, he stops texting one and wants to get serious with the other. He thinks about her all day. You could say he's a bit obsessed. Which woman would you choose? Which one do you think he chose? It might not be obvious to most, but there's this psychological concept called cognitive dissonance that makes it easy to predict. Let me explain. In this experiment, they ask participants to screw a nut back and forth on a bolt for an hour. A really boring task. At the end, they pay half the participants $1 and the other half $20. And the experimenter asks, how likely are you to recommend this task as fun? Those who got $20 think, this was super boring and that's why they paid me so much. It makes sense. It's boring, that's why the big payout. They're unlikely to recommend it as fun. Now, those who got $1 have this boring task on one hand, and the fact they got $1 on the other. It doesn't make sense to have spent an hour on such a boring task for a lousy $1. So, since they can't change the fact they got paid only $1, what they change in their minds is the fact the task was boring. Maybe they give it a philosophical meaning, or think of it as a form of meditation or a time for self-reflection. They mentally sell themselves the idea that it wasn't so boring. And so, they justify to themselves why they spent an hour on this boring task. Once they see it as personal reflection time, they're much more likely to recommend it. That's what they call cognitive dissonance in psychology. When you find contradictions in your behavior, you look for a justification to make sense of why you're doing it. Now, back to the question. Maybe you've seen it with a friend. You ask your friend, how can this ugly, lazy addict have such a hold on you? How can this 7 have you, a 9, so wrapped up? What happens is this. She's put so much effort and care into this relationship and has suffered so much that to justify it to herself, she has to sell herself the story that this lazy guy is incredible. Otherwise, why would she cry over him? Why invest so emotionally in someone not worth it? You tell yourself, since I've put in so much effort, this person must be incredible. Cognitive dissonance sees the level of effort you've put in and raises that person's value in your mind to match it. The answer to the question, does playing hard to get work? Yes, it does work. And while it's not the only factor, and mature people don't fall for it as easily, definitely making everything easy for the other isn't the best strategy. People often fail to value what doesn't cost them effort. He was fooled and became obsessed with her, the 7, who plays hard to get, and he let go of the 9 who treated him well. My advice to him and to myself is to remember not everything that's difficult is valuable. Don't fail to recognize the valuable things in your life that haven't been hard to come by.